Coming up on Mountain News this morning, state officials say this year's election results reflect what Kentuckians want most. Plus, medical marijuana is almost here in the Commonwealth, but some folks have waited years for it to come to fruition.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are at 6 o'clock this Thursday morning, and today is November 7th. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it's not looking like Christmas, it's not looking like Thanksgiving, it's just looking.
It is just looking. We have those temperatures, they're quite warm, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be any relief anytime soon. But as you're heading out the door, you won't have to worry about fog in a lot of areas, but there are some places that will be seeing that. Luckily, it's not super dense fog as we are seeing that rain coming through the area, but you definitely will see some haze in the area as you are leaving out the door. We do got that rain right now, so looking at that satellite and radar as it is moving through, and it will continue to move through as we go through the next couple of hours. Hopefully will clear by the time that 6 p.m. hour rolls around. High temperatures will be at a big range. We have the upper 60s for the more northerly counties, and as you go farther south, it'll get warmer with some places seeing the upper 70s. But as you're going through the next 12 hours, not much change will happen with the temperatures. A small range for today. Madison.
All right, Megan, thank you. The Trump-Vance ticket easily won Kentucky's 8 electoral college votes. The state's congressional delegation says Kentucky sent a message about what is needed in Washington. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what the state's leaders are saying about the future.
Kentucky legislative leaders say the economy, safety, and cheaper energy were the top issues that resulted in Donald Trump winning the presidency.
I think you're going to see a total change in what happens with law enforcement as it relates to the border, and I think you will see a totally different change in the economy.
Congressman James Comer says inflation and the border were the two biggest issues that drove voters to the polls.
In reality, the American people support legal immigration, and there's a way to come over here legally, but they don't support turning on the TV every day and seeing, hundreds and thousands of people crossing that border every day.
And Representative Comer says that right off the bat that Trump will focus on some foreign policy initiatives, also to work to try to make a more smooth transition with his cabinet secretaries. Comer says overspending also needs to be tackled, and he believes that'll be a frequent topic in his oversight committee.
We've got to determine a way to cut out the fat, and if we're going to have tax cuts, which I think we need to try to help people have more money in their pockets and try to combat inflation, we're going to have spending cuts as well.
People are worried about the economy. The cost of groceries are up, the cost of fuel is up, the cost of paying your mortgage is up, and people speak at the polls with their pocketbook.
Stivers also says what happened in Kentucky shows that the Republican momentum is showing no signs of slowing down. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Kentucky's Electoral College will meet next month to certify the 8 votes Trump received in the state. Governor Andy Beshear took to social media to give his take on the presidential results, saying he was disappointed. He said, quote, "For many, the coming days will be hard, but I know we will get through it together. There isn't a red America or a blue America, and we all need to work together to protect this country that we love." Could a Kentucky congressman be in President-elect Donald Trump's new cabinet? The Lexington Herald reports 4th District Representative Thomas Massey is open to that, potentially leading the Department of Agriculture. Massey says he is willing to help the president with his agenda, but has received no commitments or offers from Trump's team. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance's Breathitt County connections could put a larger spotlight on the area. Breathitt County Library Director Stephen Bowling says they had calls from folks in European countries asking about Eastern Kentucky. Vance's ties are documented in his book Hillbilly Elegy. Bowling says Vance's rise in government shows people can overcome hard circumstances.
And it proves that even a boy who has come from such humble background here in Breathitt County, his family moved to Ohio, the book detailed the conditions that he grew up in, can rise above the challenges in their life.
Bowling added he hopes Vance will address local issues like bringing in new industries and community growth. Other candidates are also reacting to this week's election results. For state representative in the 84th district, which includes Perry, Breathitt, and Owsley counties, Republican Chris Fugit and Democrat Zach Hall went head-to-head. Fugit came out on top with approximately 63% of votes. Hall had about 36%. Fugit says he is looking forward to another term.
I just want to take a minute just to thank, the people of Perry, Breathitt, and Owsley County, the 84th district, for having confidence in me and electing me and allowing me to come back to Frankfort for 2 more years and work on their behalf and try to better the lives of the people in the 84th.
You can still find all the local election results from this election on our website, WYMT.com, and the WYMT News app. Also in Perry County was the 33rd Judicial Circuit Commonwealth's attorney race. It was a close one between Republican John Hanson and Democrat Jonathan Wilder. The race finished with Hanson coming out on top with a difference of 71 votes. According to the unofficial results, Hanson says he looks forward to holding that position again.
Just want to tell everybody thank you so much, and we're going to do what we can to get that office back on track and start making this area a little bit safer and be a lot more accountable and a lot more accessible to folks in Perry County.
That race became necessary after the resignation of Scott Blair earlier this year. In more than 50 cities and counties, voters said yes to medical cannabis businesses. This means the businesses will be allowed to open in their communities. Grayson Passmore was able to talk with those who have been leading the push for years and are thrilled to see it come this far.
I'm not surprised at all that everybody wanted to have a cannabis business in their area.
The Kentucky General Assembly passed a bill legalizing medical marijuana in 2023. It will be enacted January 1st, 2025, but voters still had to decide where the businesses, like cultivators and dispensaries, will open. So 53 cities and 53 counties let voters decide whether the businesses should be allowed to open in their communities. And it was a yes from all of them.
These are good jobs with benefits that probably will pay a lot more than some of your more, entry-level positions, and I think it's going to be great for our workforce and the communities they're in.
The executive director of Kentucky Normal, Matthew Bratcher, has been pushing for this legalization for years.
Got such a high number of disability cases here in Kentucky, as well as high rates of cancer and other things.
Kentucky has already started distributing licenses to medical cannabis businesses via a lottery system, including Limestone Processing in Fayette County.
We're 290 people in our category, and only 10 were chosen, and we were one. So it's just, by definition, we're just lucky, and we feel really fortunate.
If you have a qualifying chronic condition like epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, or post-traumatic stress disorder, you can become a medical cannabis card holder.
Help get people back on that path to healthiness.
In Lexington, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
Kentucky will start accepting cardholder applications January 1st. Kentucky Normal will hold registration fairs in different counties starting in January.
And we have a bit of a rainy weather day today as we had that front moving yesterday. We're still seeing the rain today. As we look at satellite and radar, you can see it's mostly on those more northerly counties. It will continue to move through the rest of the region for today. As you can see, a little bit of storms this morning, but it will just be showers and clear up by the time the evening and overnight hours happening, leaving your Friday mostly sunny. Those forecasted highs will be in the upper 60s, some places seeing the low 70s, and some places even seeing potentially the upper 70s. But for the next couple of hours, we'll be warming up slightly to those high temperatures with those chances of rain sprinkled throughout the day. I'll have your ARH 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes. Madison?
All right, Megan, thank you. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Just ahead, the transition of power. President-elect Trump and Senate Republicans are gearing up for a new term in office.